Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for HBAR price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis starting on the 4 days chart here for the all-time history bullish and bearish scenario overview. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5 towards the upside finished wave 1 or a wave A. In this case scenario we are looking of course for a corrective wave, a W, X and a Y. In both case scenarios here we would like to see A, B and a C towards the upside or a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5 continuation even for higher prices than a wave C. The target for the wave C is the linear fib level at 1 to 1, 0.63 of course, in case of course you are in wave C. In case you are in wave 3 you are looking of course for the 1 to 1 fib level at the $1 exactly as a psychological number. That would be of course a very nice target for a wave 3, 4 and a 5. Now, if we take a look, of course, inside this area as well, we can see, of course, that the price is a little bit consolidating inside a triangle as well. This is your bearish scenario where you have potentially an A, B, C, D, and an E, of course, finishing wave E toward the upside, meaning the trend is going to reverse toward the downside after a wave E. This is your bearish scenario, but very low possibility currently, and that because due of the impulse towards the upside, unless this will transform to W, X, and a Y somehow. However, higher possibility still, of course, for the ABC or an impulse towards the upside. Let's move inside this wave and see what's going on inside it on the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, we can see, of course, we have this impulse towards the upside where we have of course a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5 finished exactly here with a wave of 5, and we're looking at a W, X and a Y potentially here for this correction, as of course for a wave 2 potentially after finishing a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. And in this case scenario, we are looking for higher prices, of course, because you are looking at a bigger wave 1 here. And this wave 1, of course, is going to unfold the scenario wave C or a wave 3 toward the upside that we were talking about, of course. And of course, this wave 1 is looking for a wave 2. This wave 2 perfect fib level would be, of course, the green box as usual, 0.618, 0.786, or minimum requirement 0.38 fib level. In this case scenario, you are looking at the following correction in two possible scenarios. The first scenario is you have an A, B, and a C. Your wave C is a ending diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You're looking currently for the wave 3 to be finished, of course. And then you're looking after it for a wave 4 and a 5. Now, if we take a closer look at this ending diagonal, you can see this is kind of a zigzag up. 1, 2, 3 as well. It can be here finished or not yet, but this anyway is not an impulse at the end. However, you would like to see a very perfect zigzag for a wave 3, which is still missing, which is currently it reduced the possibility and it shift a little bit much higher for a W, X and a Y, meaning you are looking at the 3 waves down and three waves up and one more structure toward the downside potentially, of course, for a zigzag or a flat after 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, reaching below the 0.38, which would be perfect for a wave 2 at least, and then of course moving toward the upside again for a wave 3 potentially, and then 4 and a 5. So basically what we are looking for on the 1-hour chart currently for the HBAR is at least lower prices to reach, of course, the 0.38 here. And in both case scenario, with those correction, you would like to see anyway a wave 5 for this impulse in case you are in an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. You would like to see it, of course, finishing a wave 3. However, if we finish as an impulse here, it is a little bit also hard to say that this is a zigzag. Now it can be, of course, that this is another impulse for a wave A. It can be a wave B. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. But how much this zigzag is nice to see. Yeah? And it doesn't look nice. We don't have to forget about the guideline of Elliott wave. It should look nice. Yeah. And in this case scenario, it is different from the wave 1. Yeah? If we have an impulse here as well, It is different from the wave 1, which it has started as a zigzag. So you are looking after zigzags here and not an impulse. And in this case scenario, it gives, of course, a higher possibility if we get anyways this wave here. It's gonna finish as a possible impulse here, potentially, of course, which is much more nicer as an impulse rather than a zigzag. And that means if you finish an impulse here, you finished a structure, half structure wave A, B, and a C to finish a wave Y. Therefore, that's why as well we are going higher for a wave W, X, and a Y here as corrective, higher possibility for this scenario. And if we take a look as well at KGT, so on the KGT 5-minute chart here, we are looking at a nice, of course, bullish signals here, a little bit, but invalidated. Yeah, we took the low, and the move did not really move toward the upside so much, obviously. And then we still have a bearish signal. However, the bearish signal is also invalidated, and that because of the massive move toward the upside. Meaning right now, if this is an impulse toward the upside, we might have even a zigzag, maybe for higher prices, or an impulse. Let's check this as well, what's going on, because yeah, both invalidation on bullish and bearish. For the HBAR, a lot of consolidation, and if this is an impulse, well, it looks like an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So yeah, potentially, yeah, it can be that you still have an ABC, by the way, for a wave 4 here, or it can be a correction for another structure here that it might unfold, and then it's gonna look like a zigzag. What do I mean with this is that potentially here we might get an ABC after a finished potential impulse here, like 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. You have a correction, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, another impulse opening this ending diagonal for much more lower prices for a wave 3. So why not? Since it is possible, yeah. Basically, because I see on the KGT that we have, of course, still, much more push toward the upside a little bit. And also we are looking at an impulse here, yeah. So if we dive a little bit deeper inside it to see it, as you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But yeah, the ending of this wave 5 is a little bit weird. Let me check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, interesting. If we move even much more micro, but yeah, it's a clear impulse. Okay, now it is clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, so we have an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. ABC toward the downside. Therefore, we are still looking for higher in an A, B, and a C here. So let's mark this. We have potentially an A, B, and a C toward the upside, at least 1 to 1 as a target. So the target can be, of course, now the wave V is not reached yet 100%. So you would like, of course, to see where it's gonna bottom, but basically it can be almost done. Yeah. So because if you are also on in a correction here as A, B, and a C, I think, yeah, you have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The wave C for H bar here. Here we go. Yeah, you have reached the 1-to-1 fib level. Potentially, just to take the low for the structure of the impulse to make it nicer. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and start to move toward the upside. Yeah, this is a big potential here. For a 1-to-1 fib level. So we're gonna watch this price, of course, next. Potentially we move for higher, and that because again the KGT also says so. Besides the impulse, the KGT says so. Look at the divergence opening, of course, meaning if we get weaker signals here, here we go. We have a bullish signal at the 400. Yeah, so that is a strong one, 400 almost. So a little bit lower, as I mentioned, to take the low for a wave 5 is going to make this signal even much stronger to 500 potentially, and then pushing forward toward the upside. So basically what this can unfold, as I mentioned, I prefer even, to be honest, to take this A, B, and a C. Yeah, this is how I see it. So I'm gonna replace this scenario here. Yeah, just simply like that. And I prefer just to take the highest possible target here. A, B, and a C. Here we go. Oh, it is in confluence. Very nice. It is in confluence, guys. So here we go. Yeah, so 0.21 might be, of course, your next target. Yeah, so if we are in an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, if this is your wave 4 here, don't forget that this is the invalidation. Yeah, it looks like we already thought about it. Invalidation of bullish. Yeah, sorry, of bearish. This is bearish, a bearish impulse. And of course, in case we see a deep wave 4 here, and we invalidate this one, meaning, okay, potential even to move a little bit higher, and then of course to reanalyze. But basically, our target is a 1-to-1 fib level, potentially, of course, that we are moving in something much bigger in this diagonal formation. Or for the WXY, what does it mean if we move higher? Let's say we are moving in WX and a Y. What does it mean for the Y? Yeah, it can be, of course, your wave B as well. Okay. So A, B, and a C toward the downside to finish a wave Y as well. So we need this. Yeah, we need this. So we're going to see how the things are going to unfold. Don't forget, on X today, we have updated so many coins. We have the Ethereum, we have the Avalanche, AVAX, and SUI, and finally the Budget. Don't miss those updates. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.